So I just went through a build showcase for Neeko, but I figured we would also do a full champion breakdown and take a look at all the other aspects of the champion, as well as different relic setups you can use if you do not have her at 6-star or you don't have the epic relics, and see what things are good on her, what you want to focus on. So starting off just with her constellations, there isn't too much that's important on here beyond when you get to her 6-star, main thing being that you want to play things of different subtypes because they will have reduced cost and they get additional bonuses. But if you get her to 2 and 3-star, that's going to be fine for most of the bonuses you're looking for. Her first 4th star is actually very good in that it gets you a creature that has a subtype out on the board early on. So I think trying to pick at least the 4th star up will really make a big difference for her. In terms of the bonus stars, the only bonus star that makes a major difference is this one, which is that your support champions have Dragon Tooth, so that will give them yet another subtype. So highly recommend picking that up if you are able to. In terms of her relics here, there's a lot that we can go into. The primary thing you want to do with Neeko is make sure that she is safe when she is attacking, or that you can get additional copies of her to play her again if she dies. So with that in mind, I think the common relics to focus on, if you only have common relics or you only have common slots, then would be Banshee's Veil. This will help protect her from spells. You could use the Everfrost is alright for a stun if you're dropping her on a turn that you're attacking. That potentially can allow you to attack without her dying. Since you are attacking a lot with her, Ginsu's Rage Blade can be okay. The mana refill, it's alright. Especially if you have other copies of her, you can potentially use the duplicate, but I wouldn't focus on this one. She doesn't have a lot of spells in her deck that are really important, so this is probably not the strongest. Fearsome, probably okay for low-level adventures. For high-star adventures, this is not really going to do anything for you. Stormrazor Quick Attack, again, good for low-level adventures, probably not going to do as much for the higher-star adventures. Additional copies of her in the deck is always good, so that even if you do have to sacrifice her when you're attacking in or blocking, you can get another copy of her out there as soon as possible. The Grand Duelist Blade is great. Challenger, this allows you to choose which defender is going to block against her, so you can make sure that she isn't going to die when you're attacking in, and that is decent. The rest of the common relics, I would say, don't hold a lot of value to her, so I would focus on those that we just went over. In terms of the rare relics and builds that can go with this, I would say most of these first ones not having too much value. Giving her pure stats is okay, just because that might help her survive a bit, but not that great. The rally on attack, again, this can be okay for her. This does allow her to, because her level up happens when she's attacking, this can allow you to get another attack in and get more buffs from her level up. So that can be alright, but this is a one-time trigger, so I wouldn't put a whole lot of value into this, but it could be better than, you know, some of the other green star relics or green rarity relics if you don't have anything better. Gale Force, this can be very good for her because you want to attack in with different subtypes. This can potentially give you a chance. If you summon her, you can, disguise her as one of the subtypes you're missing. Do your scout attack, potentially even get multiple attacks in, and then you will shuffle her back into the deck, can summon her again, especially if you have either Echoing Spirit or that Chameleon's Necklace that we went over on the common side. So if you have this and then the Chameleon's Necklace, then this will make it more likely that you have more copies of her in the hand, so that after you shuffle her back into your deck, you can play another copy during your next turn. So that can always be a good combo there. Let's go back down here. So these I don't think are too big of a benefit for her. Guardian's Angel can be very good. Especially, again, she's a champion that you really need to keep on the board, unless you're doing things like shuffling repeatedly. But this will make sure that if they do block her when you're attacking in, or if you need to block when it's your turn, or they have some other method to remove her, that there's a good chance you can get her back. Nice thing, this potentially you'd have to see, but this could work with her duplicate. I think oftentimes the ephemerals don't end up working with these things. It's a little bit buggy, but if you do end up with like the Deathless on there, if you get like Deathless plus Guardian Angel on her, you can potentially get multiple copies of her out there, because her champion spell allows you to create an exact copy of them. That's just ephemeral. So this could give you a way to essentially print Neekos. But that can be a little finagly, just the way that they handle ephemerals. Sometimes they don't do the revives just to prevent you from printing too much. Again, stats here can be good. None of these other relics in between, I would say, are particularly useful with her, unless you're using the that scout bow that shuffles you back in, or so that's actually where was it? Sorry, this Guardian Orb relic. This can be good with her champion spell again. If you're doing a build around her champion spell, you could do something like this where you say, okay, I'm gonna, fully go all in on her champion spell. So you'd use like Archangel Staff, Guardian's Orb, and then you could use either like Guardian Angel or use the Grand General's counterplan, I think this. So this allows you to get a free copy of her in hand at round start. So that'll either, if you already have her on the board, that will allow you to use her champion spell on her, and then summoning another copy of her will give them epic items. You could also do this without Archangel's Staff. You could instead, again, you could do multiple different combinations with this, but you could use Guardian's Angel. You could also use, if you have an epic relic, and you have, oops, we don't want to show, let me equip them, we're going to show all of them. If you have Echoing Spirit, this one, so this is multiple copies, or again, that green one, the Chameleons, getting more copies of her. This will make it more likely that she's the one who gets hit with the epic items in your deck, and that she'll get more bonuses. So that's always a potential build option around Guardian's Orb with her, especially with her champion spell. So let's go back to the rare relics here. And we were right around here. We just talked about Guardian's Orb. This Fist, again, just stats. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but you can use it if you don't have any other better options. Laurent Blade Rack can be good. Again, you can keep her safe, especially now you can use all your allies with challengers, so you can potentially make it so they're not even able to block her. They have to block your other allies that you're attacking with instead, and so you can make sure that she stays alive. Luden's Tempest is only really any good if you have her 6-star. Beyond that, this will not be really useful at all. But if you have her 6-star, it can be okay. I wouldn't recommend necessarily going all in on her 6-star in terms of the damage. It already scales up pretty well with more things that you're attacking with. but this is an option if you want to focus on that. These are going to be pretty useless for her, so I wouldn't focus on those. The Stalker's Blade can be okay. Again, she doesn't really have that high of attack power, so it's probably not going to remove anything. But it can interact if you have other ways of buffing her up. It can interact with her copy. So if you do copy her, you can get free strikes from her, but you'll want to make sure you're using other relics that really buff up her attack if you're doing something like that. She is a cheaper champion, so you can always go with the sort of star gem build where you reduce the cost of other champions by 2 for each one, so you have multiple of these. You would want to do this with the Oath of Guardians epic relic. So if we go in here and say Oath, so this will make it so that you shuffle different additional level 2 champions into your deck that have double stats, and you draw them. So with this reduced cost, you're much more likely to be able to play them, and that will benefit you. But yeah, if you do this, you'll certainly want to play her as a different one of the disguised things, because I believe it should make the other champions, if they don't have another subtype, it should make them shapeshifters if they don't have a subtype. So then you can play them for cheaper, even potentially up to -6 cost. So that can be quite strong to get some powerful champions out for cheap. Let's go back here. Oath of Guardians in general, I think, is usable on most champions, but especially low-cost champions with the double star gem is really strong. I wouldn't say any of these are particularly good. Nothing there. Getting a copy of her champion spell in hand when she levels up, really not going to be that impactful. Grand General's Counterplan, I think this is really good for multiple things, both getting the ability to use her champion spell, but also this makes it easier for you to sacrifice her in once you've had her down for at least one turn, block with her, things like that, and then just play another copy right afterwards. Scourge's Stash can be okay, but realistically her cost is not that high, so but if you do want to attack in with other things first and then play her afterwards, you can potentially play her for free if you've managed to damage their nexus. All of her other characters in the deck that have a subtype get impact, so if you attack in with pretty much anything, you will be able to trigger damage to their nexus and play her for free, but I wouldn't highly recommend this. Troll's King Crown can be good, just helps give your whole board overwhelm, make sure that you can get damage through to their nexus. I wouldn't focus around this, but if you do have her 6-star and don't have another way to give your full board overwhelm, then this can be an okay option for that. The Transmogrifier can potentially get you other subtypes if you haven't, if you've already attacked in with a character, then in future rounds you can transform them so that you get them potentially a new subtype. But this isn't particularly strong with her, just it's an option, probably better than a lot of those green relics. I think that's pretty much it on the blue relic side. Most of these other things are not going to be very good for you. On the epic side, there's a lot more options as well. Again, if you have her 6-star, big guns can be okay to increase that damage. I personally don't recommend building around that, but this can be helpful. If you do want to focus on this, do a big guns plus Ludens build. and then you're guaranteed to do, essentially 4 damage at least to their whole board and nexus every time you attack. So can be decent, but I think just scaling enough with having more attackers is better. Black Shield is always good, just keeps your whole board more safe. I don't think it's a particular build around for her though, so I wouldn't focus on this. But it's certainly better than just using the regular green spell shield on her or other spell shield options. So, because this will give all of your characters spell shield. Cease and desist, unlikely that you're going to be dropping her with 10 plus power, so really this would only be giving you the +3 impact, really not that great. Most of these attacking relics, not going to do much for you. It's going to be a bit difficult to scale her up to 10 power unless you're able to target her a lot with her champion spells, so unlikely these are going to be really helpful for you. Challenger can be okay. This does put a character that is a lurker in your deck effectively, but it is a 5-cost spell for dealing like 1 damage. I would not value this one, but it's it's going to be better for you than just the standard Challenger green relic. And because this does give her more attack, you would probably want to combine this with the quick attack relic if you are going to use it, so that green quick attack relic. That way you can force yourself in and hopefully eliminate the thing that you're challenging. Death's Foil. I think this is a best in slot relic for her. This allows her to attack in without risk of dying, and really is important because you want to keep her on the board. So highly recommend this if you do have it for her relic, epic relic slot. Defense spending can actually be good on her. This gives you the subtype of tech. So in terms of getting to her 6-star, this will get you closer to that. It also gives your Nexus tough, so you're able to survive attacks and pings and things like that a bit easier, and just keeps your Nexus a bit more healthy. But the main thing you'd be getting out of this by using it is that it gives you yet another subtype so that you can get to her level up and make her elusive even quicker and make it harder for them to defend against her. This can be okay. Draconic Runes. Again, this will give you... If you're, actually, it only does this if I'm a dragon. I don't know if this will give you the I am a dragon. You already tend to get I am a dragon from the stars we talked about, as long as you pick those up. So, wouldn't heavily recommend this. You'd need to test if it works with the, if this actually makes them a dragon or not. I don't think it does, but it might. So you can always test it out. Echoing Spirit, this definitely has applications. Reducing the cost of her champion spell is great. If you're running these, again, you'd probably want to be doing things like the Grand General's Counter Plan, as well as the Guardian's Orb. Something like this would probably be the best way to go about using her for those resummons. You could also do this with, there is another option, another epic relic that we'll go into in a second, but her starting deck does have her champion spell. So it's a Shape Splitter. So you can also use Searing Brilliance. So if you have Echoing Spirit and Searing Brilliance, that can potentially get that spell down to just a 1 cost, which is, so where were we? Echoing Spirit here. So this reduces the champion spell cost by 1. And then if you have Searing Brilliance down here, this also will pick a card from your deck. So potentially that, champion spell. She doesn't have a whole lot of spells in her deck, so this can be really, really good chances that you will hit that. You could do a lot of duplication of Neeko, and then if you have that Guardian's Orb on there, that's just going to put epic items on most of your deck really quickly. So that is an option for a build, kind of a different way to play her. Probably not the strongest, but there's definitely potential with that, and it will keep her safe in that anytime she's targeted, you'll be able to just do a duplication real quick on her and make sure that she essentially is safe from that. Won't protect you from things that hit your entire board, but it will protect you from other things. Also, if you have like spell shield and stuff like that on her, then it'll make her even safer from that perspective. Fear Cleaving Axe, this actually is good on her. You are trying to attack in a lot. You won't probably have a lot of allies with Spirit, but this does, give her Spirit. She will scale up better with this. If you do have a way to give other units in your deck Spirit, then this will be even better. But this is all right. It's basically like a better version of Ginsu's Rage Blade from that perspective. It gives you a base +1/+1 in addition to the normal on there. Frozen Tomb can be okay. It's normally pretty easy to play her, and you should be able to get copies of her. I wouldn't really recommend this. This is going to fill up a board slot. But if you want to guarantee that you'll eventually get her on the board, if you happen to draw your support champion instead of her, this is just a way to guarantee that you end up getting her. Full build, again, can be okay just because of having Challenger. Makes sure that you can challenge into creatures that won't kill you. Also getting Tough, make it more likely that you are able to survive your initial attack. So I would definitely recommend, if you're using this, combine it with something like Fear Cleaving Axe or Ginsu's Rage Blade so that you scale up her stats more as you're attacking in. These don't have too much value. Living Weapon, this is going to be very similar to Ginsu's Rage Blade or the Fear Cleaving Axe. This is even better than those in that it will give you that +1/+1 when you play, anytime you attack, and at round start. So this will scale up her stats even faster from that perspective. So probably better than both Ginsu's Rage Blade and Fear Cleaving Axe. But very similar play style, and you'd want to use it with similar relics that impact that. So you'd want to use this with things that potentially give you like Challenger or Quick Attack to help keep her alive. Mischief Maker's Flute, the only reason you would take this is it's spell shield, but it also has an additional effect. But you're probably not primarily getting bonuses off this additional effect. This would just be for the spell shield primarily. But if you don't have any other spell shield options, this is an option you could use. Nora's Port, this isn't great. We already talked about the Oath of Guardians build. I think that's a reasonable build for her, quite strong, especially because she's a low-cost champion. Perfect Hex score is pretty much always good on any champion, just to get additional the things like elusive and keywords. There we go. Sorry, my brain just couldn't think of it for a moment there. But this will get you additional keywords, so you can potentially get lifesteal, other things like that. This is pretty much always good. It's going to be better than most blue or green items, so if you happen to pick this up, probably use that over any of certainly over any green pretty much, and then potentially over a lot of the different blues. That'll be good. None of these are particularly great with her. We talked about Searing Brilliance already. I would pretty much only use this if you're also doing like the Echoing Spirit and the Guardian's Orb, the blue item. I would pretty much only use it if you're doing that sort of build. Otherwise, I don't think this has a whole lot of value. secret technique. You're not really buffing up your own units. Shock and Awe, you could use this if you are, because she gets cost reduction on a lot of her units. You are playing a lot of like 0 cost units when they're played, 0 and 1 cost units. So you could get a lot of triggers with this. If you're doing like a big guns and Luden's Echo build, then I would recommend Shock and Awe in that case. So where's Luden's Tempest? There we go. Not Luden's Echo, Luden's Tempest. So if you're just focusing on dealing spells, so if you have her 6-star, you could use a build like this, and this could be very effective at burning their Nexus down pretty quickly, since you'll be getting a lot of added damage to both her AoE from the attack, and now each of your creatures also doing additional pings because they're low cost when you drop them. So that is certainly an option there. I haven't messed around with that too much, but I think that has some potential. Then Siphoned Sorrow could be okay on her just because you'll constantly steal health and become bigger from that sense. It'll help keep her alive as well. If you are doing this, this might be a worthwhile build to do with Strength of Stone, which is later here. So this will make it so all your units are formidable and have +0, +1. So you could do a build like this. This will help make her, so now she will have, 5 health by default when you drop her, and you'll steal more health from enemies every turn. When you drop her, you'll steal health if there's an enemy on the board, and every turn you'll be stealing health, so she can scale up to have a ton of defense. That will make her quite strong and more likely to survive, so that does have some potential there. I've used that on plenty of other low-cost characters, and it can be quite good. Let's see here. Spectral Scissors, not particularly great. Evelyn does give you, this can be used with her in that you get, essentially your husks are immobile, and husks are a subtype, so you will be able to attack with those husks that are generated by Evelyn. So if you have this in general, normally this relic is not very good, but in this case, because husks are another subtype, this could allow you to get more subtypes on the board this way. Again, because you are putting out a lot of 0 and 1 cost allies, Spirit of the Brewhu can be quite good, gives you Overwhelm, Quick Attack, and Fury. I would pretty much only use this if you don't have Beast Within. But if you don't have Beast Within, this is a good option for getting Overwhelm on a lot of your deck. Stack deck, this can be okay if you get a lot of cards in your deck, but I wouldn't build around this particularly. Starforged Gauntlets, you're unlikely to trigger. You would need to put, a lot of plus health or plus attack on her in order to trigger this. I don't think it's worth putting that much investment just to get 1 extra mana gem on her. Strength of Stone we just talked about. I would pretty much only use this with the other relic, that Siphoned Sorrow. If you don't have Siphoned Sorrow, I probably wouldn't use this. In general, you might as well just be attacking and doing damage with your normal power rather than your health. Especially if you need to block and everything. This is certainly one of the best relics on her. Pretty much everything in your deck is going to have a subtype, and you'll get Overwhelm. And so pretty much your whole deck gets +1/+1. Really strong. Highly recommend using this if you have it. It is a very good relic for almost any champion. So if you have a chance to pick this up, highly recommended there. Hand of Noxus, this can be good actually because it does play Apprehend, so it will stun the strongest enemy when you drop her. Also gives her Challenger, so you can make sure that she's attacking into things that you want to be able to, that won't kill her effectively. Again, this is probably good with using like the quick attack green relic, making sure that she can actually kill stuff rather than them getting a chance to attack back against her. So I think that covers most of the decent epic relics for her. So again, you just want to focus around keeping her safe. There's a couple different builds if you have her 6 stars, focusing on spell damage rather than just attacking with subtypes. But most of the builds should be around keeping her alive and being able to attack in with as many things as possible. So that's about it. Hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions or other things you would like to know about this champion or any others. Hope you have a good one.